Welcome to the Football Odyssey podcast, where we document the iconic, forgotten, and obscure people and events in American football's journey from a third-rate college pickup game to a larger-than-life American obsession. I'm your host, Aaron Harris. Now, before I give you an overview of what you can expect from this podcast, I want to briefly talk about my reason for doing this in the first place. As someone who is passionate about football, I spend a lot of time not only watching the game, but researching the history as well. Whether I'm reading about a player or a coach, or about the history of the NFL, or about the evolution of the rule book and playing strategies, or even about football in foreign countries, I'm always fascinated with the amount of depth that the game of football has to offer in its history. Obviously, every sport has their own share of legacies and stories to tell and is full of colorful personalities. But the complex and unique structure of the game and the amount of establishments that the game has created has made it this sort of 150-year epic narrative that interweaves countless amounts of people and events on its path to becoming a fixture in American culture. This is why I called it the Football Odyssey, because of the grand scope of knowledge and history that American football has to offer. What I want to do in this podcast is to touch on a variety of different topics in football's vast history from any vantage point, any decade, in any country, and at any level. Some of these topics have been covered before, but many episodes will be centered on topics that haven't received much coverage. In particular, there's 6 segments that I really want to focus on, or 6 areas of the game. The first is called The Anatomy of a Game, which is derived from the book of the same name by former University of Delaware head coach David M. Nelson. This will be dedicated to the evolution of the rules, positions, playing strategies, so on and so forth in American football, as well as profiling the coaches and the players behind these innovations. Next will be white-collar football. That will focus on front office personnel, executives, legal and economic cases that the NFL or the NCAA has been a part of and has contributed to its big business venture that we currently know today. Book reviews will be long-form analysis on vintage books related to American football, both rare and popular. Football in the media will trace football's relationship with the press and electronic media and how football is portrayed through these mediums. American football abroad will look at American football around the globe, both in its contemporary state and how the sport took root in the foreign land. And lastly, Gridiron Outliers are topics that don't fit a specific category, but nonetheless hold an interesting spot in American football's history. I'll also be conducting interviews with former players, coaches, writers, historians, filmmakers, and anybody else that's contributed to the Football Odyssey. I'll also be doing retrospective thoughts on games, both ones that were from my childhood and even the ones that predate me. And there will be more to come. This is a podcast that I wanted to meet the demand of football history that may not be readily available, but nonetheless are very interesting topics that should be heard. You can contact me through the footballodyssey.com. And also at thefootballodyssey.com is my Twitter and Instagram handle. So if you would like to follow me, feel free. And on thefootballodyssey.com, I also have articles that are written in one of these 6 categories. So feel free to go in there and check them out. But I'm excited to do this. I'm excited that you decided to join me along the ride of the Football Odyssey. And come back soon for the next episode.